Hey, what is happening, y'all? It is my privilege and my honor and my pleasure to have your attention. What really quickly before we get going and get started in this conversation, I need you to tell somebody, anybody, everybody that this conversation is happening. If you're in the Nelvin R. Samuel Ministries page or the group, I need you to share it. Take a minute and share it. Take full advantage of this information. It's going to be good. I'm excited to have this talk. So while I'm telling you to do it, I'm doing it at the same time. I want you to share this. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. And that way we can ensure that everybody gets this information. All right. I've shared it already. Share it one more time. Share with another friend. Make sure that you share it in all your circles and with all your people. I want to make sure that you guys take full advantage of this. We're talking about finances, and I don't want you to take this stuff for granted. I don't want you to take it lightly. And you don't know who it's going to be a blessing for. All right. Then if you're coming in the chat, what I want you to do, shout out to you who are joining us on Facebook at the Nelvin R. Samuel Ministries page. And those of you who are on the YouTube channel, please, 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 just jump in and say where you're from, where you're hailing. We want to get into this talk. I absolutely love watching people come into financial independence. And I believe that if we are wise, if we're really learning from anything, this entire world, this pandemic, this crisis of COVID-19, looking at these skyrocketing and absorbent medical bills, really puts us in the place where we are forced to think about our finances another way. So I want you to again share this information. If you're not if you just watching the replay, God bless you. Welcome. It's your boy Pastor Nell from Love City Church and Nelvin R. Samuel Ministries, where we endeavor to ensure that we feed your now and we fuel your next. And I don't just want it to be spiritual. I also want to be able to minister to you as a whole person, as a whole family, as a whole married couple, as a whole legacy. I want that something that we do now will benefit your children, your grandchildren, and your great grandchildren in the future. So again, welcome. This is our very first talk during our 12-week challenge. For those of you who don't know, we are going into week seven of our 12-week challenge, where I was inspired simply because I was listening to people who were trying to come up with these get rich quick schemes, some of whom were actually even getting this extra unemployment money and still couldn't join these little round robins that have been going around. No shade to any of them. However, I saw that there are people who got extra money who still couldn't get involved because they mishandled their funds. And I challenged them. I said, how about we take 12 weeks, save $1,000? And someone, when I told them about it, they said, well, what's in it for me? I said, you're going to save $1,000. They said, okay, what's the return? I said, it's your money. You don't have to worry about a return. It's your money. And I think we've been conditioned to try to get money fast without doing the hard work. I know that it sucks to know that you're putting your own money away and not getting crazy interest and no one is scamming you. But the truth is, it is so satisfying. It's the best feeling in the world to know that your money did that. Here's what I'm going to help somebody understand. I today just got my letter from IRS that I've satisfied one of my tax warrants from, I want to say 2014 or 2012 or something like that. I satisfy it and it felt good to know that these people are not going to harass me for this money anymore. Nobody did it for me. I didn't flip it. I didn't sow into anybody else. I just got disciplined and I took care of it. All right. One of them, and I'm grateful. You say, well, preacher, how you have tax warrants? Well, when people do your taxes wrong and they disappear, then you're left trying to foot the bill. And but I had to make sure that I did this. And these principles that I'm teaching you now, and I've been teaching over the last few weeks, is exactly what I did to help take care of it. So a few tax warrants down, and we are going. So tonight I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing someone who I met, one would say, by accident. She was walking out of a meeting. I was walking into a function to introduce folks to finances, and I loved her spirit, her drive, her tenacity, and her professionalism. NRS Ministries family, I want you I want to introduce you to Lisa Camposano. She is from the World Financial Group, and she is one of their campaigns is financial literacy. I absolutely love it. Can you guys just welcome Lisa to tonight? Let's get into a conversation. We're going to talk about something that is absolutely important as it pertains to that. But first and foremost, Lisa, would you say hello to the folks? Let's
Absolutely. Well, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Pastor, for having me. And I'm excited to be able to share with everyone today.
Awesome. So let's jump right into it, Lisa. One of the things that we've been talking about is this crazy pandemic. We can't get away from it. And I mentioned to you that we had this 12-week challenge and how necessary I felt it was for folks to actually save their own money, and how that's just the first step. But after you save your money, what do you do? And we came up with this idea of addressing debt management. Could you talk to us about debt management?
Absolutely. It is an honor to do so. One of the things that we need to first understand before taking on debt management, we need to understand what debt management is, right? And the first way that we can do that, I want to break down the words. I really like breaking down words. I mean, I used to be a teacher, so I do know that we have different learners. So to me, I like to keep things simple. So in the word debt management, we actually have two words. One of those being debt. Okay, debt means that it's basically the state of owning money, right? You owe someone money, you own an institution money, a crediting institution, whatever the case is, you owe money, okay? Mm-hmm. The second is management. Now, management is the process of either dealing or controlling. That could be things or people, right? But it is a source of responsibility there in the word management, okay? So yes. When we're going to be talking about that management, I want us to quickly just understand, first, we need to determine whether we are dealing with manageable debt or unmanageable debt, okay? And I know you're probably wondering, well, Lisa, what's the difference in between the two, okay? Right. Manageable debt, it means that you're comfortably able to pay back over an agreed period of time. So that is the debt that you're comfortably able to pay back, okay, over in a period of time. Now, unmanageable debt, on the other case, is actually when the debt payments become unmanageable or unaffordable. Okay, so that's the distinction between the two. Now, when you are identifying which one of the two you have, it is important that you act accordingly to what your debt situation is. Okay, so with that being said, Pastor, there isn't necessarily a one scenario fits all, right? But it's all about helping people understand what their options are, okay? And that's something that I'm hoping to be able to add value to everyone that's watching this live today, okay?
Good. Thank you. So while we're talking about debt management, one of the things that I've learned is that the United States of America, her largest, most powerful export to the rest of the world is not cars, it's not screws, it's not music, it is actually debt, or what they call credit. um, that our greatest export to the rest of the world, our biggest contribution to the rest of the world, is not basketball, it's debt. It's debt. And so, while we're talking about this thing, what we owe, right, based on your definition, um, why is debt management key? Why can't we just save our money? What what how important is debt in this grand scheme of things financially?
That's actually a great question, Pastor. One of the things that I need us to understand as to create some sense of urgency why we want to get rid of debt, we first need to understand the statistics. Okay, so why don't we talk about the 39% of people who are carrying credit card payments month after month? Okay, I'm sorry, credit card debt month after month. Okay, now we're going to talk about on a larger scale.
Right?
In 2013, we've had it as a nation about 2.8 trillion in consumer debt.
How much?
2.8 trillion.
Trillion with a T.
With a T, okay, a capital T. All right. So, Pastor, that's actually on average about 15, close to $16,000 that on average every single household owes in debt.
How much?
16,000. Okay, on average.
The
Yes.
average.
But Pastor, you want to know what that number is today?
I'm listening.
Today, 2020, okay, household debt has rose to 14.3 trillion, and that was just in the first 3 years of the first 3 months of 2020. Okay, so
Wow.
I know that was my reaction as well.
That's hard to hear.
Right? I wish we can have a meme for you right now for your reaction. So, and of course, I'm not trying to make light of this situation, but that's those numbers are scary. Okay, because we're responsible for that debt. It's not, yes, as a nation, economics and things like that are involved, but in reality speaking, the nation had to upfront a lot of money during our crisis, right?
Yeah.
And it still is. So a lot of people are wondering, where is this money going to be coming from, right? And that's, of course, can be for another conversation, but I need us to understand the numbers, right? There's power in numbers. So when we look at those numbers, it's understanding, where do I fall in that 14.3 trillion? Okay, how much of that 14.3 trillion is mine? Okay, or someone that you know? So with that being said, Pastor, it is important that, of course, it's really hard for you to take on a problem that you cannot see.
Yeah.
So we need to first identify, yes, your debt is not 14.3 trillion, but if we're looking at on average 16 to now possibly 20,000 per household, okay, are we going to allow that to consume our lives, or are we going to take control of that?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And so what I'm gathering is that debt management, the sooner we get control of our debt, the faster we actually, every individual who's part of this number, the faster we get control of it, is the faster we get out of the red as it pertains to the country's debt.
Absolutely.
And we can prepare ourselves for some type of FI, or what they call financial independence.
Exactly. Because if we actually take a look and, when we're building our financial house, because as the financial literacy campaign, we like to refer to your financial journey as you building your financial house. Okay. Just like how you're building a regular house, right? You cannot build a house starting with the roof.
Right.
You need to start with the foundation.
So hold on, Lisa. I think we have this. I think you have this actually as a slide. I think I have it on the computer. I'm gonna try to get it pulled up for you. It should be. It looks like it looks like steps, correct?
Yes, it's page 3.
Page 3 is the third slide. It should be there right after her photo.
It's actually the one. Yeah.
So,
2 after that one. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Protection, debt management.
Perfect. I want folks to see this
Okay, this is exciting.
if we can.
So it's actually the one before that one. Yep, there we go. Awesome.
Okay.
So now that everyone can see this, this is exactly what your financial house is, okay? And we refer to your financial house, financial foundation, but it basically means this. It basically means solidifying your foundation. And how do we do that? Well, I like to refer to building a house, okay? Like I was mentioning, you can't build a house starting with the roof, okay? If you were to do that, your house will collapse. We need to have a solid and a strong foundation,
Right.
okay? So with that being said, we want to make sure that we're taking care of protection and just very briefly covering what protection is. Protection is covering you in the event of a disability, any health conditions, premature death, right? What happens is if we don't have a certain protection when it comes to that, for example, life insurance, health insurance, okay, estate planning that protects our assets, if anything does happen to that, then guess what? That means we'll have to come into an emergency fund. If we don't have emergency fund, we need to get into more debt to cover these things, right?
Right.
So I love to start out with protection. And also, for those of you who do not know, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Okay. So that, of course, can be for another conversation. So we have protection, then debt management. Okay. We want to get out of debt as soon as possible because the sooner we get out of debt, the more money we can focus on saving and investing. Okay. Which are, of course, you can save money, but saving doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get rich or wealthy. In this case, wealthy. I like to use wealthy. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Pastor, debt is a huge, it's honestly, it's a huge weight that you have on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a sense of owing money to someone, right? It's not a good feeling. So you want to have that freedom, and the way that you can break free from those shackles is by becoming debt free.
Wow. That's so good. That's so good. So is it possible to become debt free in America? Is it possible?
Absolutely. It is so possible. I mean, I have so many stories that we share because we have as a campaign, we have what we like to call the campaign Facebook community.
Right.
We are sharing stories of how are we getting out of debt, how we're helping so many other families get out of debt, right? And we post it, we celebrate it. Because becoming debt free, honestly, that's something that's rewarding,
Yeah.
right? And then not a lot of people do it. So it is a great feeling to be able to walk into a place and say, I'm debt free. Okay. Yes, I may have credit, but at the end of the day, that's optional for me, right? It's not a
Yeah.
sense that I need to use it.
I'm trying to not get too excited.
Me
No, seriously, because there are people who actually live with the idea that they cannot be debt free, making the money that they make.
too.
Debt, I want to remind people, debt is technically based on what you commit to,
Yes.
right? So if you're not committing to, listen to what I'm about to say, if you're not committing to paying $2,000 a month for a car note and $4,000 a month for rent and not a mortgage, then what happens is you reduce the amount of debt that you have. Why is that important? Because then the likelihood of being able to pay it off in your lifetime is higher, which then leads to financial independence. Now, to be debt free doesn't mean that you're a trillionaire.
No.
I mean, you want to jump on that? Come on, help us with that thought. You're the finance maiden.
To be debt free means you're taking back time. Okay. And if we know time is the only commodity we do not get more of, okay, we can make more money. We can make more time, right? So to me, that is something that goes above anything. Okay. Because to me, looking at being 30, 20, or even 10 years in debt to me is too long, right? I want to be able to enjoy my life and not feeling like I constantly owe it to someone, right?
Right.
That's what it means to me, Pastor, and of course to many other people, but it's all about looking at things in a different lens. If we look at things in a different lens, it would allow us to take better action.
I want the preacher in me just turned on. And it's because for a long time I have been just studying the power of time. And you said something that I need everybody who's watching tonight to drop in the chat. If you're watching, I need you to drop in the chat if you're not driving. To get rid of debt is to get back your time.
Absolutely.
To get rid of debt is to get back your time. That is, oh my gosh! And the reason why my wheels are turning is because there for those people who don't know what the word mortgage means, the word mortgage comes from a word which means death unto death. In other words, you're gonna die twice trying to pay this thing off.
Wow.
Okay, that's where you get the word like mortuary. That's
Yeah.
the same root word as mortgage.
Wow.
So to say you're going to pay off debt is to actually tell death to stand back. Baby, I feel the preacher turn. Tell death to stand back. Because there's some of us who literally take debt and have to pay it off until we die. I
Yeah.
am tired of doing funerals for people, and they're telling me that they can't take care of me because they have to get a GoFundMe started, and there's not enough GoFundMe in the account. They want to take care of the funeral, and they want to get the plot, but they can't take up the end of life costs. It is a shame to know that the Bible says a man that does not leave an inheritance for his children is worse than an infidel. But
Wow.
then how bad is that man or that woman that forget about not leaving an inheritance but leaving debt
Yep.
for their children? The reason why I say that is because if debt is to get rid of debt is to take back time, then that means mom or dad who dies and leave their children in debt not only wasted their time, but they're stealing time from their children.
Stealing time from their children. And that's why, Pastor, life insurance is extremely important, because to not have life insurance is blatantly you being selfish.
Ooh.
Because now, not like you mentioned yourself, not only are you now taking time away from yourself, but now you're going to put your kids to a responsibility that they have nothing to do with. They didn't choose to take on their parents' debt. So this is why life insurance, and Pastor, it takes a family 10 years financially to bounce back after the death of a loved one.
Wow.
10 years. And that's assuming that there's no debt.
Wow.
So this is why it is important to have these things set in place. A financial house, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I don't want anyone here to feel like, oh, where do I start? Take it step by step. The first thing that I would start is that you want to start reading, which I have a book that I'll be able to share with everyone here today. And also attend these webinars. We have webinars that we're hosting that break down these topics to a core, so you feel more confident in taking action and moving forward.
We're going to get into some other stuff, but how much of these webinars for folks who may want to turn off and say that we hustling? Go ahead. How much is this?
The webinars?
Yeah.
So if you want to become a lifetime member, is $100 for the lifetime. Now, if you just want to come watch it once, you're more free to just watch it once and take away whatever you want. But if you want to constantly have access to these resources and also coaching, then it's $100.
$100. How many times? One time?
Just a one time, yes. One-time investment in your future.
I know I've spent more than that on dinner.
Yes.
No, seriously. I spent more than that on dinner. Like, to have access to lifetime information about financial security and safety.
Exactly.
$100. I didn't even want to drop that. And here's the kicker, y'all. They had free workshops the entire time of quarantine.
Yes.
This is crazy to me that we have access to this kind of information. And I love the fact that we're talking about financial literacy, because some of the drama that many of our people are experiencing, even marriages fall apart. It's statistically, marriages fall apart. The number one reason is not sex, it's not infidelity, it is money.
It is. That is absolutely right.
Money. Mm-hmm. Money. And so just jokingly, I actually saw someone post this week, just today actually, about a point that, you know, if the brothers were serious, don't forget about anything else. She needs a 1 carat diamond at least. No, she needs at least a 3.5 carats at 3,500. I said, I was sitting there. I was like, if you were really serious, honey, you and your boo would take that 3,500, get an LLC, start a business, take the rest of it, invest into the business, so that by the time y'all do get married and you do settle down, some of the things you purchase can be tax write-offs for the business that you put in the house. How about that?
How about that?
But again, I want you to hear. I want you to understand why I said that, because we have a debt mindset.
Mm-hmm.
We have a debt mindset, and we don't know.
Yep.
We've committed to debt, and we have no clue about it. So even as we're moving forward, you talked about credit card debt, right? What are some strategies to get rid of credit card debt now? I mean, I was running a financial group at my church, and I just said, bring your cards in, and I cut them up. I just cut them up. I said, whoever wants to bring them, whoever's tired of it, cut them up. But truth be told, there was someone who paid off her car in a matter of, I think, about 2 months. Paid off her brand new car.
Wow.
In a matter of 2 months, because we got rid of the credit card. What are some strategies to get rid of, to hand it?
So this is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. The first thing that I definitely would recommend is to stop getting into more debt. Okay, before we can even start anywhere, you want to don't say, okay, I'm working towards getting out of debt, but the minute that you see, a nice shirt, some jeans, you want to go ahead and buy that and then get yourself into more debt, right? You want to start living below your means. It is super important, and this is also activities that we do with our members. We help them do activities that will help them budget and live below their means. Use cash, right? They say that cash is king. That's arguably, right? That's something that you can argue. But one of the things that I definitely recommend is when you're going to go out, don't take your credit cards, okay? Especially the ones that you're working on heavily to pay off. Don't take them out, because that means that will be more of an incentive for you to use them. So I would say use debit, cash, or some form of prepaid. So therefore, you can also limit yourself. Pay only. So this is a technique that I've been using in my debt-free journey. I only put on my credit cards things that are necessary. So for example, I have a food for budget every single month. So I have a specific credit card that I pay for the food budget. I pay that credit card off, and then I get rewards. I get points for using that card. So that's how I keep my cards active to not close them, because I don't recommend closing them. I do recommend to have some type of utilities like the light bill, the phone bill, right? Things that you pay off every single month, but you're now paying it off on the card.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one is also just cutting down on unnecessary expenses is one of the things that I would recommend. If you actually are doing your budget analysis or your expenses analysis, there's a lot of things there that we necessarily are paying for and we don't necessarily need. So if we are able to cut back on those things, it will free up some cash flow for you to actually add towards your debt.
Wow. I hope you guys are taking some notes. Information. Hope it's really sinking in.
I actually got that slide from one of our workshops. Okay, so
good. Well, again, we'll talk about the workshops again closer to the end, but I really want them to take advantage of that. So, and some people think that there's some. So, what if you don't really have like credit card debt? There's some real serious debt that you're carrying, like tens of thousands of dollars. Some of us hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Some people tell us that just file for bankruptcy, right? Is that the way is that something that we should consider, or are there other ways to handle some things?
So we do have different solutions, Pastor. I did put bankruptcy as one of those things because bankruptcy is the legitimate route to get out of debt. Okay. However, a lot of people may look at it as a quick fix, but in reality, that can it can affect your credit score for as long as 10 years. Okay. And in reality speaking, it's a process that can be tedious and sometimes even long to complete. Right. So bankruptcy is literally an option that I don't even really fully recommend unless it's honestly like your last option. The second thing that I would also say, there's actually consumer credit counseling, which is CCC for short. Now, this is another program. It's a method. It's some type of There you go. Thank you. It's some type of debt relief program. This is what it does is that it basically helps you make minimum payment if you're, especially for if you're going some, you know, financial difficulties. However, it can take you up to 6 years or longer just to get some type of debt resolution going on for yourself, and you don't even end up paying 100% back on your debt. So that's also another program that I would, you know, slightly consider as well. Debt consolidation loan. Now, Pastor, this is another big one. So the way that I like to break down a debt consolidation loan, let's say, for example, I have 5 credit cards, okay, and they're all like $10,000 each. So what I'll do is that I'll take out a loan, okay. Let's say the balance is 50,000. I take out a $50,000 loan and I pay back those individual credit cards, right? So now instead of paying all those 5 cards at the same time, I'm now paying it in one single loan, okay. Right. This option can help you lower or bring down your interest rate. For example, compared to a credit card interest rate, on average is 24%. So if you're looking for a lower interest rate, this can be a good option. And also just one monthly payment, okay? The next option is actually a very, very famous one. Dave Ramsey talks about this, the debt roll-up and the avalanche, right? Yeah. So the debt roll-up is literally you starting with the smallest balance, yeah, paying that one off as soon as possible, and then rolling up that monthly payment towards that credit card to the next smallest balance, okay? And then using that process repeatedly until you get out of debt. But if you rather go the avalanche, which is honestly my favorite route, the avalanche is when you pay off the credit cards with the highest interest rate first, okay? Knocking those out, so therefore you're able to save more money in terms of interest rate costs, okay? And last but not least, we do offer a debt resolution program. What the debt resolution program is literally a payment plan that you're getting where we help you get out of debt and within 24 to 48 months, okay? The highest I've seen was 72 months, okay? But what it does is that it takes all of your debt and it puts it into one payment, okay? And then therefore you're able to bring down that minimum payment, and they're able to bring down that debt in most situations and get you to get out of debt in within 24 to 72 months.
Wow.
That's pretty much in a nutshell all of the different options that you have when you're dealing with debt, and of course, simply identifying whether it's manageable or unmanageable debt.
And I think that begins the entire conversation. Is my debt manageable or is it unmanageable? As you know, I've taught through Dave Ramsey a few times, and I understand the pressure and the pain behind or that people experience when they really sit down to look at their debt and address it. And when we say debt, we're not talking about, you know, your cable bill,
yeah,
payment. We're not talking about that, because those are recurring bills. Utilities are recurring. So though that doesn't qualify as debt. It is money that you owe, right? And so I'm going to skip forward a little bit here, Lisa, for the sake of time, and I really want to talk about how important this $1,000 challenge is to some folks, right? Because some people are saying, well, I would do it if I had it. Why? I'm going to say this. This $1,000 challenge means a lot because most emergencies fall between, you know, $100 to $1,000, and many of us can't, because we can't handle $1,000 hit in any given month or any given season. That throws us back and forces us into a place of debt, right? So you're recommending that we start with 1,000. Why is that? Beyond what I said, if you have an answer, beyond my simple answer.
Yeah. So I recommend starting with 1,000. I mean, I definitely agree with you that average American doesn't have $500 saved up. I mean, that's just the numbers.
That's a fact.
So you're absolutely right. An emergency usually is around $500 to $1,000. So there's something about these small wins Okay. If you, on average, I personally recommend that you want to have somewhere between 3 to 6 months in an emergency fund or in a savings, but you need to start somewhere, right? When you start with $1,000 and you're hitting that goal, again, that's a small win. Now let's do 1,500. Now let's do 2,000. It's not that you just start at 1,000 and you stay there. It's a start. Okay.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is definitely a start, but it's all about understanding that that is simply to cover emergency. But what is an emergency, right? Now, the way that I like to simplify emergency is a serious, unexpected, and often a dangerous situation requiring immediate action. And I got that from the dictionary. Okay.
How
Now,
about that? Was good.
if we break down fund, a fund is a sum of money that is saved and available for a particular purpose, right? So again, it's something about breaking down words. Now I have an emergency and now I have a fund. So emergency fund is simply just for something like, and I think you had the page not so long ago, reasons for an emergency fund.
Yes.
Major car repairs, home repairs, okay? A roof you have to take care of, okay? Major appliances that you have to change, that you have to fix or replace. Loss of a job. I mean, the loss of a job is honestly one of the biggest reasons why people need to dive into their emergency fund. Also, illness, hospitalization, right? Death, okay? So all of these things are important and they all are eventually just giving us the peace of mind. Okay, that's what an emergency fund does. It gives you the peace of mind knowing that if it does come, it's not, you're not stumbling, you're trying to scramble, trying to figure it out because you know you got it.
Yeah. I thank you so much for that. So the basic rule here we talked about is establishing this $1,000.
Yes.
After we establish this $1,000, then we now increase it to 3 times. You're saying 3 times your monthly income, right? So that's next level
Yes.
emergency fund, right?
Yes.
So I was already asked, what are we going to do when we save this $1,000? And someone said we're gonna spend it, we're gonna invest it. No, we're gonna add to it so we can develop.
House. Absolutely, Pastor. We're gonna add it to our house. So I know again, $1,000 is literally an accomplishment telling you that you can do it. If you can do $1,000 once, guess what? You can do $1,000 again, and you can do it again, and you can do it repeatedly. 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah.
But it's giving you that peace of mind, that safety net, knowing that okay, if I have to take care of this expense right now, I'll be fine. Okay. How many people can actually say that? So you'll be part of that few people that actually decided, you know what, I value myself and I know that I don't want to go through that feeling. I don't want to have to put anybody I love through that feeling. So I'm going to do this because I have no other choice.
Incredible. And so we want, can you imagine? And some people, this is important because even as it pertains to your debt management, while it may seem simple, we're talking about saving $1,000 and then maybe 3 times or 6 times the monthly income. Some of us have not actually sat down to consider what our monthly income is. We don't know what the income nor the expense is to actually even determine how to budget. Exactly. We're literally living from paycheck to paycheck.
You're absolutely right.
And so this is incumbent upon us because it's forcing us now to sit and say, really, what am I spending my money on? What have I been doing? Have I been too lax? Have I been too tight in some areas? So I really want us to stop and to really pay a close attention to even the little things that are being alluded to here. You've got in order for you to know what your monthly what 3 times your monthly income is, you need to know what your monthly income is.
Absolutely.
Which also means you need to know what your expenditures are, which means at some point you've got to do some type of debt to income comparison, or what they call ratios. All of it, it's not rocket science. To be honest, most of us do it. We just don't have terms for it.
Absolutely.
So So as we're pulling in and coming to a close, as it comes to our debt management, we definitely want to take a full advantage of our our this emergency fund, this 12-week challenge. Like I said, with NRS Enterprises, our desire is to feed your now and fuel your next. But at the same time, what I also want to challenge you to do is I want you to be encouraged. I don't care if you only put $25 away over these last 7 months. You put something away. Do not give up. All right? Lisa,
Yes.
you talked about this book. Now, what is this book that you were referring to earlier? And we're almost done, y'all. We're almost done.
Yes, so the book that I was referring to earlier is honestly our go-to book. Is created by the Financial Literacy Campaign. It's a finance one-on-one book. Now it's called Saving Your Future book. And as you can see, it's straightforward. It's meant to save your financial future, right? Now, what this book does, Pastor, is that it breaks down every single thing that you want to learn about finance in such a simple way for you to understand. And why do I say that? Because we've noticed that a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to deal with finances, it's that the language is too complicated. So
Right.
when you understand something, you shy away from it, right? Just like how we are in school, okay? Math wasn't my strong suit, but now
Right.
I love it. But now, we're giving people the opportunity to now make it fun, make it something they look forward to, make it something that they understand.
Right.
Okay, so it's bringing Wall Street language into Main Street.
I
And
love
that is easily accessible to all of our families, everyone in our community. And if any of you want a copy of this book, that's the information right there for you to access it. Just text your full name to that number, which is my number, and I'll make sure to make this book accessible to you.
Wow, thank you so much. This is another thing that I appreciate about you, Lisa, because this stuff has been like secrets. People have been holding it up. Nobody wants to tell anybody any information.
Oh,
They've been tight. Nobody wanted to tell us. And I want to say thank you so much for even availing yourself to this degree, because honestly, it's unfair and it's unjust that there are people who are doing well already,
yeah.
who may be born with a gold or silver spoon in their mouth,
Yes.
have this information, and whether they want to tell those of us who've been marginalized or not, we've been robbed of the opportunity to do well. There's some folks who may not be making $600,000 or $700,000 a year, but they did well. Unfortunately, they lack the financial literacy and the fiduciary wherewithal to actually walk around and make the people around them better. And I think it's phenomenal that you even want to do this for people who the world says is less fortunate.
Absolutely. I mean, I can relate. I can relate to the average person, Pastor. I was born and raised in the Bronx, the South Bronx at that, which is one of the poorest congressional districts in the country.
Oh
So
my,
one of the things that has motivated me is seeing, my community and seeing how much in need of this information, we are. And because of that, it is what motivates me, it's what fires me up every single day to make sure that I'm fulfilling my mission to educate families.
I want to say I really want to say thank you because some people don't realize how necessary this information is. I want to say thank you, and we're wrapping up, but I just want to say thank you even before we wrap up because I've seen so many struggle, not because they didn't have it, because if we were going to take how much they pay for sneakers and for video games and
Yep.
for jewelry and for cars and for clothes for every major event and for every major holiday, they would have discovered that they spent an extra $8,000 to $10,000 a year that they said they did not have.
Absolutely.
To say that they did not have on menial things that don't matter. And here's the crazy part. Some of them incurred debt
Yes.
for a measly moment, going back to the conversation that we had earlier about time. So for a 3-hour party, you incurred a $3,000 bill to get a belt buckle and a pair of shoes.
Wow. It's absolutely true.
right? They don't make that. They don't make $1,000 an hour, but to spend $1,000, $3,000 for a 3 hour
In a
event is
heartbeat, in a heartbeat.
when you put it in those perspectives, right? And you put it in that perspective. Um, and so listen, y'all. We want you to come up with a plan, and Lisa can help you design a plan. Plans are designed with goals in mind. Plans are designed with goals in mind. No architect sits down at his desk to draft a building without hopes of seeing the building erected. And what I want you to know is that we're not going through this 12-week challenge just simply to say that we did it. We have goals in mind. And I asked you the very first week, what are your goals? What do you want to do after you hit this? It's not to go on a shopping spree. There should be something other than saving this money that's in the back of your mind that you're preparing for. And so after we come through this deck, one of the things you need to talk to, and if it's not Lisa, talk to someone, something like life insurance, whether it be whole life or term, whatever you want to do, whatever it is you want to do. I have pros and cons for each one. I always encourage folks, not just in life insurance, but also investments, not just investments, but annuities. Those are things that you have to talk about because all of them can pay you out at the end. And some of them pay you before the end. So you need to take full advantage of those and invest in those areas. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys have been blessed with this. I hope somebody's been encouraged by this. I want to see us win. And Lisa, you said something during our conversation. Since September is a life insurance awareness month, you said something in our conversation that I really want you to just hit on, and then I want you to just wrap this up and put a bow on it. You said that we need to change our view of life insurance because it's not about death.
Yes. So, of course, when you think about life insurance, the first thing that you think about is death. But what a lot of people don't know is that it's honestly one of the most affordable ways to pass on generational wealth. Okay. And in most situations, okay, because of course we do have two sides. We have our terms and we have our permanent life insurance, which have cash value that not only you use, okay, when you're no longer here. Of course, in that case, you're not going to use it because it's going to be passed on, but you can use it when you're still alive in the event of, you have an emergency. Okay. Kids college fund, even supplement retirement funds. I've seen people that have done that. Okay. So of course it is a tool that is needed to be added to your assets to help you generate the wealth that you desire.
Man, oh man. Oh, now Lisa, now talk to us again. This is you. This is your floor. I'm yielding the floor to you, and then I'll come back and just give some closing remarks. What can we do? I know you put the information up on the screen before, but can we get? We want. How do we? What is this $100 for a lifetime membership of financial information? Just give us a breakdown of that really quickly. And then one more time, give us your email and your phone number so that we can connect and get this free book. I need everybody in the 12-week challenge to get the free information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe we can even create a book club, right?
Right.
But one of the things that I want to mention, Pastor, with that $100, one of the powerful tools that you'll be receiving or resources is the access to our financial literacy workshops. Now, our financial literacy workshops include topics like increasing your cash flow, managing your debt, okay, budgeting. We also talk about how to build a strong financial foundation, which is, I touched on it a little earlier. Proper protection, which is understanding the different types of life insurances and understanding the one that fits your needs. Building wealth, which is one of my favorite topics. We talk about asset accumulation, investments, stocks, mutual funds, how to not be an emotional investor. There you go. Retirement planning, understanding the different types of retirement accounts that exist. And then last but not least, how to preserve your wealth so it's being passed on to your loved ones and to your businesses versus the government and the IRS. Okay. So honestly, if you are just looking and focused to add to your knowledge and just continue to add value, that honestly, it's necessary, right? Because it's unfortunate that as adults, we need to make all of these mistakes when it comes to our money, just so we can learn how to manage it correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do this, as you can see on our screen, we do have a mission, a very powerful mission, and that's to educate 30 million families by the year 2030. And the workshops are just one of the very few ways that we're doing that. They're virtual, by the way, and they're being hosted every single day of the week. Okay. So if you miss one, catch the next one.
Yeah. Thank you. And so let's get this information. I'm telling you, y'all, just on that alone, right? I'm going to help y'all understand why this little stack is important. I need you to understand why this 100 is important. Because to be honest with you, I want you to take the information down. But I went to go and do some credit repair myself, and I made the phone call, and I had a remark on my credit. And the person said, okay, no problem. Everything else I can take care of for 500. But because of this remark, it's going to cost you 2,500. I said, well, I don't have, and you got to have half up front. So I said, you need me to give you $1,500 to take care of this situation that is already paid for? They said yes, because that's the amount of work we need to do. Do you know that I had a conversation with someone literally for free, and within a 3-week span, the financial information that I had received was able to take that remark that was going to cost me $2,500 off of my credit?
Wow.
Listen to me, y'all. Sometimes we think you have to spend the big money to get the big information. $100 for a lifetime membership to finance to this financial group is a drop in the bucket. I mean, come on. All right. And if you can't do it now, save your $1,000, start over, and find a way to finagle that. But you definitely need to get access to this financial information. You're going to get a book for free if you follow the instruction here. Let's pull that phone number up on the screen one more time. If they text you, they can get the book.
Absolutely. They text me or email me. You can receive the free book.
All right, good. So we're going to put that email address. We want to put that text message, that phone number up on the screen. I don't know if there are any questions that came up, but I want to say thank you, Lisa, for your patience, for your faithfulness, for your commitment to help us tonight. It is absolutely imperative that these folks take full advantage of this. I want to again thank you. Again, with NRS Ministries and NRS Enterprises, we have one mission, and that is to feed your now and to fuel your next. Whether it's by preaching, whether it's by counseling, whether it's by coaching and training, we believe that there's something that you need now, but more importantly, there's something that needs to fuel you for where you're going. And this information is key to going into the next season and the next place in your life. I believe that it is the will of God that you are not a slave to a man or a woman or an institution because of some decisions that some of you were not even privy to. Some things you purchased and you didn't know that the rate was going to be this or that of this percentage, or it was going to cost you that. You've been paying off the minimum, didn't know that it's not hitting the principal. All of that we've been destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You have access to the information, and listen, y'all, you don't have to pay the 100 to get the information. You pay the 100 to have the lifetime worth of the information. I'm gonna say that again. You're not paying 100 to get access to the information. If you want to, you can get the information, but the lifetime access to the information and the other tools that come along with it. That's what we're talking about. And I don't get a dime. Let me say this up front. I don't get a dime nor a dollar for any of this. It is literally me being concerned about your future. I don't want any of you to rob from the lives of your children and your grandchildren because you did not have the information today. All right. I want to say thank you so much, Lisa. You are incredible.
Thank you, Pastor, for your platform. I had so much fun doing this, and I would do it 10 times over that. And of course, if we want to bring more topics into a live, we can definitely do that as well.
And because I like the way you flow with me, we are going to come back. We're going to talk about some other things. Listen, y'all, if you want Lisa to come back, I need you to jump in the chat. I need you to jump in the chat and say, bring her back. Right? David says thank you. David says to get the information. I guess David is lighting this thing up tonight. To bring Lisa back, we need to make sure that what we're getting from you is not just from us. And if you could, y'all, please share this. Share it tonight. Share it tomorrow. Even if you're on the YouTube, please share it. This is so necessary, and I promise you, we'll continue to bring some solid content, as well as not just Lisa, but some other folks who are skilled enough in finances to help you and help us change our future. It may not be better for us, but I mean this with all of my heart. None of the people on this live tonight and whoever's watching the replay, none of their children, none of their nieces and their nephews are going to have to start at zero because of the information that they got tonight. Jessica said bring you back. Shirley said to bring you back. David said to bring you back. So you'll be back.
Woo! They asked for it.
Absolutely.
Excited,
It
excited.
didn't even feel like an hour, but thank you. So we planned on a half hour. I'm so glad we broke protocol. But thank you so much, Lisa. The Lord bless you, real good. And I look forward to hearing great things happening with you, and hopefully we can partner again in the future. Again, thank you. God bless you all, and have a good night. All right, y'all. Peace.
So much, everyone. Have a good one. Thank you once again, Pastor, for the opportunity. Take care.
All right, y'all. Good night.